Welcome today to the A2B1 podcast. Today we're going to be discussing a spooky anime.
Oh, Halloween's over.
It is. We're going to be discussing Soul Eater and everything Soul Eater related, which means we're going to talk a little bit about Soul Eater not.
Or Aaron is, because we are not.
But yeah, so thought about it a lot. I really like this anime. We all, I think, have some recollection of it. Watched it at least once. I really liked it. I know you, Axel, are indifferent.
It's good. Upon rewatching it, I didn't enjoy it as much as I remembered.
I just don't get that. Like, because I literally have watched it like 3 times.
During the rewatch, I found it kind of boring a little bit.
I just don't know how.
The aesthetic's still great and everything. It's just the middle part kind of got a little boring to me.
See, I can get where maybe the plot and like the writing and everything you kind of see more flaws with it when you rewatch it, because it is such a different anime. It's got a lot of like aesthetics to it.
I think it's supposed to be gimmicky. I think it's supposed to have that feel.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it's got a lot of aesthetics. It's got a lot of oddities to it that I think really draw you in the first time you watch it. So I could see where future times of watching it, you might notice like odd writing, weird plot points and things. But as far as it being entertaining, because entertaining is a different thing. I enjoy, like Soul Eater is one of my favorite background anime. I just fucking turn it on.
Oh, that's what usually when I want to rewatch. So like, I know everything goes on. It's like, oh, it's one I play for background noise, and it's like I still enjoy it, but I definitely see where people could get turned off by the beginning when they see these Jack the Ripper and all these characters. And it's just like they do nothing else like that. So I understand why people would be bummed out after that. Because I know Axel has talked about that. That he really enjoyed these Halloween-esque villains. And they never did anything else like that before. We talked about that. How it had like the... Okay.
No, they definitely had Halloween-themed villains. And they had like, the funny thing with it... It's funny that... I love that Soul Eater has Jack the Ripper. And then also Jack the Ripper's in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's a different thing.
Anime just really likes using Jack the Ripper.
He's a cool
guy. They use him a lot.
They do. They really do.
Not just that, but it's also the fact that... Well, actually, now that I think about it, it was the very beginning of both of them. Like, it wasn't just that he was mentioned. Yeah. It was the first fight in Soul Eater was against Jack the Ripper. Yeah. In the very beginning of JoJo's Part 1, Part 1, it was like Jack the Ripper, terrorized the streets, but it was nothing compared to the horrors that lie. And it's just like, okay, kind of allude to that, bro.
You can tell both shows were using Jack the Ripper as a starting point, just to bounce out. Like, it's just going to get crazier.
This is how
we're starting with Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I really enjoyed about Soul Eater is how Halloween based it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say. Aesthetics are really good on it. It definitely draws you in. I think episode 1 was interesting in the fact that it whacked you with so much at once, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I like how literally in the first episode, this man was one mistake away from becoming a death side. And then that just became the plot of like the entire series afterwards.
Just like, you have to work so hard to get back to that point.
Glossed over the fact that he was comparable. And the funny thing was, even like Death, after they killed Blair and got one of the souls, was like, yep, that ended up being a cat and stuff. And it's just like... So even he was... Everyone just thought it was a witch. So it's like...
Because he was the one who told them about that witch,
it's
wasn't
like, you're getting punished for killing a witch that everyone thought was a witch, and then you have to reset, but it's...
Also, where did all those souls go? Did they explain that? Do they just poof out and go out into the nether?
I guess they got an astral plane.
Or does Death just take them and put them like, soul
in his little closet? He's like, he's mad.
He poops them out.
He does. But that was the funny thing. Like I said, he was that close. Like, if Blair was actually an actual witch, which he could have been.
To be fair, you say comparable. She could have just went after, 99, little baby-like things.
Just starting out.
Little baby.
Just get them. But that's what I'm saying, that you sit there and you are one step away from being the highest level you can be of a fucking weapon, and it's the fact that after that you literally look like one of the dunces of the school. Like you're just one. Oh yeah,
she just goes down.
I mean, it's so crazy. So that's one of the weird things about the start, because it sets you up to think that these are highly successful Meister and weapon duo and stuff, and then afterwards it's just like. They have the cool kids come, Death the Kid comes, like, what's up, Pops?
Oh, so you want to talk
that combination is great. I think that works very well in the show with the whole Meister and weapon thing.
Yeah.
that dynamic allowed for, instead of 3 main protagonists like normal shows would probably have, we were able to have 6, or actually more than that.
Yeah,
we were 7.
It just broadens the horizon of like having like a whole wide cast.
Because it allowed for like each fight had 2 characters, but they fought as one unit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just simplified things.
It did. It
very
really
well.
did.
Instead of having like 7 main characters where they all had some special technique and fought, they condensed it down to 3 very like.
It was
efficiently.
I feel like it wasn't unique, but at the same time, it was for the show. Like, because I feel like other animes have done something like that with like.
That was kind of rare for like people to turn into weapons.
Fusion, ha! That was one of the closest things where you saw like a duo of people, or at least like a team of people really combining their efforts.
I guess, like I said, it's different, but like Fate kind of does the same thing. I think, but it's just differently.
Well, as far as anime goes, I think Soul Eater's younger than Fate.
I don't know what
they're comparable in time anyway.
But regardless, Soul Eater definitely did a good. Did
did.
Like I said, within the realm of
it was.
And Fate's still 2 people fighting. Like you still have the person controlling them and someone else.
Yeah, it was written very well for Soul Eater. Like that's why I give props to like things like that. Like it definitely has its flaws, and I will agree with that. But like I think for its time, how they written everything was really good.
Yeah, I like a lot of like you can have qualities of all the different characters. They all have their quirkiness and stuff. I think it's another one of those animes where you're going to have a lot of people with a lot of different favorite characters just because of the like immense amount of personalities you get with the show.
My favorite's Black Star.
So you want to talk about dunces right there. He was the dunciest dunce there was ever.
I like Maka, she's cute. But also, honestly, of the main crew, you like Black Star. See, I love the, what was her nickname?
Krona.
No, Krona's my favorite, but of the main 7, because Death has 3, I really like Tsubaki, isn't that?
Yeah, that's her name.
I love Tsubaki, but I'm trying to remember her nickname. It was it was
because she takes that black sword from her brother in the show, and that becomes like
it was something because I remember them saying that her and Black Star was like a perfect match in heaven, like, but. Let's go back to being Black Star being a dunce. Like, I wish they would have done more with Black Star. Like, he was just a really good character, and I felt like he just didn't get his time or his like
I've
big
heard
things.
he does in the manga.
Oh, in the manga, yeah. He's so busted. It's one of the hardest things to compare the two because there's been a lot of anime that I've seen in my life. And of those anime, I'd probably say 5% of them I've actually read the manga on. So drawing this conclusion might not be as accurate compared to other animes because maybe it's universal in a lot of situations. I just don't see them. But it seems like from my friends that do read a lot of manga, they agree with it that the anime and the manga are so vastly different in their own ways. I think
they are.
But the unique thing about Soul Eater is that I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's really beloved, and I enjoyed both. I enjoyed reading the manga of Soul Eater.
I definitely, I think it's like different because like Soul Eater's different from the manga and the anime, but it's almost like okay, like a lot of times it's bad, or people are like, oh, just read the manga, or it's just a trash anime, kind of like the differences.
A lot of people who read the manga first, I think, really don't like the anime.
Well, the anime doesn't make any sense.
But that's because they watched the manga first, which a lot of people think is better. Then they watched basically a worse.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
If you did it the other way around, then you'll like both because you liked the anime originally, and then you read the manga.
I will say, in the anime, Black Star is one of the few people who can do that. What was it called? Where
he can manipulate his energy without needing a weapon.
Yeah, like that was a really busted thing that he could do. And he just didn't utilize it that much. Like, it was so busted, but he just never really
I was going to
did.
say, he used it against the fight against Stein. Then Stein was a little surprised, and he was like, oh, well, that's cool. I can do that too, but way better. And then
he used it. I thought he used it one other time.
I mean, he definitely used it again.
But it's just like, it wasn't a big thing that he did.
No, but in the manga, yeah, it definitely was a busted ability. But that's the thing, like, with what Axel said, I do agree that if you read the manga first, I think it's harder to get into the anime, but I don't know that it's necessarily because I feel like the anime does a whole lot wrong, because I do think that I can get behind people having an issue with the ending or feeling like it was rushed or there's a little much going on. But as far as the entire core series, I personally think that it was really well done. It was really interesting. I think the reason manga readers didn't like the anime isn't because the manga is just insanely superior, because I do love the manga. I love the manga a lot, and I love what they do with, like, Chrona's my favorite, you know. I love what they do with Black Star. I love the development and how far it gets taken, but I don't think the anime did a bad job. What I think is that people who read the manga were thirsty to get that on, you know, an on-screen adaptation. Yeah. They wanted to see it true to what its form was, and because they didn't get what they read animated, that's what's disappointed. So, I understand that. I get that, because there's a lot of times where I've read books in the past that I've been like, you know, even though I want it to be the exact same, I just really want to see it animated, or you know, done in live action.
Harry Potter's
but as far as
a big example.
Yeah, or like Aragon, how bad Aragon was as a movie, or anything like that. But then you have other things like superhero movies, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where even if they don't follow the plots exactly of the comic books they're based off of, comic books have different writers, they have different people who do origin stories, and so anytime I watch a superhero movie, I view it as if it's just a different universe. It's a different writer for that character. So even if it is not canon to a single comic book, as long as it's well done, I'm pleased with it.
And it feels like you're watching those characters.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching those characters in a new story.
Well done is fine. I have mental flashbacks to watching Green Lantern. It's just trash.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If it is well done, if it's well done, then it feels just like you're picking up a different comic from the same. But with manga and, like, you know, novels, it's a little different. You really want to see what you read. You're like, no, I want to see this. I want to see this story.
This scene animated.
Well, I say that about Attack on Titan. I read Attack on Titan. I was like, man, I just want to wait for the manga, because I was like, I want to see. Like, I just think Attack on Titan is better animated than it is reading.
That's because
the
manga art style is not super great for Attack on Titan.
Well, I just think it's a
big
big action thing, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather see it animated. And that's an example. So I definitely understand that, but I see both sides, and I get it. People are entitled to their opinions. They're wrong, but go with it, man.
Right.
Hot take. They're wrong.
So,
say in the comments.
Say it in the comments. Rail Aaron.
Yes. But anyways, another big thing I liked about the anime was the fight scenes.
Oh, yeah.
I think every single one of the fight scenes was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that was one of, like, in the rewatch, that was the most enjoyable part, was whenever a fight scene would happen. Like, then I had my eyes glued to the screen. Like, I was like, I want to watch this.
I mean, number one fight I truly enjoyed is probably one of my favorite is the Stein fight. When they first fight Stein.
Oh, yeah.
In that graveyard.
TWMA versus Stone.
And it's just like, it was amazing. He's just kicking their asses.
It felt reminiscent of My Hero with Lemillion. Whenever he took the class, it's like, let's see what you guys can do. How on par are you?
You know, that'd actually be flipped.
I'm done talking about My Hero.
Anyway, I think I enjoyed the fight with Black Star. Well, I guess there's two of them with Black Star and the Swordsman.
Yeah, the first one's better, I think, than the other.
What was his name? Mitsune, because the little is it not? The little girl says it.
But his first fight with him was a lot better.
Michizuri, is it? No.
It might be Michizuri.
Something like that.
But
something around there.
I think his first fight was a lot better than the second fight. Like, the first fight was, I mean...
Oh, no, I'm thinking, oh, hello, nurse. I was thinking Mizune, and that's the rat girl.
It is.
Who they fuse together, and it is spicy.
But anyways,
arguably
it was
the
like...
most attractive.
And the reason I say the first one's better is because there was like...
Mifune. That's what it is.
Okay.
It was Black Star's like training moment and to realize that he like could do things. It was more like an opening for Black Star. And I like Black Star as a character. And I wish he was a lot, like I said, a lot more like represented, but just felt like he was just pushed aside.
Black Star's like
interesting because when his intro, you know, he was very flashy and all that, but he's supposed to be a ninja.
What was the?
What was the? Wait a minute.
What was the thing he said? Because he would say the same thing like. On that balcony, I'm Black Star. I'm Black Star, and I'm like
he's going to become one of the most powerful Meister in the world, right, or something like that.
I thought it was most famous something or other. Like it all, whatever he praised himself for, it also went against being a ninja.
Because the very first intro episode, like I said, he's spying on the mob on that thing, and he just jumps down on the table and just they pull out the blickies. And they're running around the table. Those have to be the worst shots. They're worse than clone troopers. I mean, you have fucking automatic guns that can't hit two kids running in circles on the table.
But that was my big problem with him. Is like, I think he was a good character. I think he had nice moments. I think he could just been more used.
Well, what I was getting at was, like, you know, he boasted, like, he was very boisterous for being a
Oh.
ninja. But then the first time
He wasn't no ninja.
Well, no, that's what I was getting at. The first time you see him, like, start using his techniques, you know, he slows his breathing, he stops it. Like, he actually does know ninja techniques. He just fucking
doesn't do the secret.
He doesn't.
In the shadows.
He doesn't do the stealth part very well.
He does not.
He wants you to know it's him. Yeah, see, and that's the one. Okay, if I had like a knock on the anime, because I mean, don't get me wrong, every anime has its issues. My knocks on the anime is I do feel that with the characteristics of like the different people in the main cast, I do think a lot of them went overboard to the point where I can see where people were annoyed by them. Like I can see where people were annoyed by Black Star being like, oh my gosh, he's just
People
so
said,
extra, and he's so this and that. Same
and
thing
he had
with
that one catchphrase that sounded a whole lot like
same thing
Naruto
with
saying,
beginning
"Believe
Naruto.
it."
Everything like the beginning Naruto. Believe it. I got so upset.
And then Death the Kid. A lot of people thought his OCD was just way over the top. I mean, it was just
It is a little over the top.
It's a little, but
Like,
I think it defined.
there
his
was
character.
points
it
where
does, but
annoyed me,
again, yeah, it's like that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
To
it
the
was
point where
annoying, but
annoyed
like
people.
it defined his character. Like defined like how he was, and like,
I'm just saying, like, there was a couple points where I think he had the choice of help his friends or you know be freaked out, and
I mean,
he stayed freaked out a little longer than I would have liked.
And then
he had there was a point where he was either going to die or freak out.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
the
saying.
people had
That's
to
what
carry
I'm
him
saying,
out.
That's a little overboard because I mean you would prioritize.
Have you ever dealt with OCD?
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's because even like that's honestly a criticism that the show does find is people with OCD do feel like sometimes that Death the Kid is a character who it's a bad portrayal of mental illness because he is so over the top and he literally will like risk his life. Like he'll just get his butt beat by that one Pharaoh guy that was perfectly symmetrical, and it's just like people are like you're misrepresented. Like OCD people aren't so obsessive about it. Like at least not in most cases where they're just literally going to go mentally insane.
At that
having
point,
something
it was a product of the time because I mean back then anime did love to have characters that just went
Quirky.
way over the top.
Quirky.
What made them special?
And then Maka, you know, she had her issues where
Men.
she had, men, but not just men, but even like little things. Like whenever she succumbed to the madness, I get that it is literal madness. I understand that. But there are a lot of people who felt like she was just, again, so extra with the woo and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean.
I'm sorry, I like.
No, I know a lot of people like it. And I liked it. Again, it's my background anime. It's something I do enjoy. But I won't tell people they're wrong if they're like, oh, I'm annoyed by this. Like,
I
this
get it.
I was gonna say I started to get a little annoyed by
Blair's over sexuality. Like, everything is sexual. Like, you're a cat, eat some tuna fish.
That's okay.
That is, it is very okay.
But
Black, or not Black
Sexy.
Star, Soul with his I'm too cool for. I mean, literally everything. Everything. You were just about to
when
be.
things got serious, he did too. That was one better thing.
Yeah. I mean, everyone had redeeming qualities. Everyone was good characters.
I'm just saying his wasn't as over the top. Like when stuff got serious, he got a little.
I think this is the thing. You have an anime like Soul Eater. This is my biggest thing, and this may be a freaking unpopular opinion. I don't think it is though. I think that Soul Eater has so many characters with so many quirky personalities and quirky traits, and they just do them so over the top that you can find charm and enjoyment with them, but again, some of them go into the realm of annoying. And yet, the one character who was meant to be annoying is actually beloved for his personality in Excalibur.
Oh yeah,
I love Excalibur.
But he is literally just meant to. That's all he's meant to be. So it's funny that you have the situational irony.
It's because it's intended.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
love
saying.
him.
That's
so good.
you could argue that's some of the genius of it. But yes, Excalibur.
What was the thing he said? What was it like? Oh, it was you fool.
Fool. Yes.
You fool!
From the United K, I'm looking for hair. I'm
Like,
going
I just
to California.
he would literally walk up to him like, you fool! And then it's just like,
Oh no, it wasn't he. It was just literally just fool. Like, it was one word.
It was so
I saw a
good.
tier list that was a Soul Eater character tier list, and it was SSS tier, Excalibur, and then F tier was everyone else.
It's like Speedwagon. Whatever.
Yeah.
hello. Oh,
yeah.
This is making me want to rewatch the anime. So as far as villains go, Medusa was amazing.
Medusa was fine. Mutine was fine.
Well, Medusa I think was just a good villain. I think she legitimately was an amazing anime villain.
Oh, she was. I mean, she was very good. She had her manipulation that she had over Chrono, which
she took over a child's body.
There you go. Yeah, that was a thing.
She stole some.
I want to be a lolly. My time to shine. And then you had Asura, who Asura was, it changed the tone. Now again, Asura was like, another niche one where people, some might like, some might not like. But he's
so do you classify what's her name with the blood sword a villain?
What, Chrono?
I mean, she was a little.
I mean, yeah, for a little while.
It's like Vegeta. I mean, like
there's character development in the anime. Yes, Chrono had development and turned into a hero.
But I just didn't know where you. I classify her as a villain.
I mean, if you gotta,
she was
look at the manga.
She was a good person for just as much as she was bad. Like honestly, probably longer in Soul Eater. So
I guess
she'd be a.
I guess it's kind of how you fit her in, I guess.
Ragnarok was the one you could argue was like, no matter what, was like, yeah, at points, he's like, okay, fine, I'll listen, whatever, we'll do this thing. But he was always objective to it.
I mean, he
didn't want to.
She always had to fight.
I was gonna say, well, towards the end, it wasn't that he actually cared about Chrono, though. He cared about himself.
Yeah.
He cared about living.
It's like, I'm gonna do what I can, but
I think he knew, because if she died, he died, right?
He just wouldn't have a user again.
He'd be like Anubis and JoJo and just chilling.
That's fair.
Maybe. But yeah, and then what's it called? So Ragnarok, and then Ragnarok's personality and quirky, squishy face.
A bad villain, and like I said, I saw the anime. I think the bad villain was the end all be all. What's his name?
That's what I said. Asura. Yeah.
He was just not. I think he was written very poorly. I don't think he was thought out very well. I think a lot of things he did was just. I mean, he was supposed to be madness and crazy.
Was he also the villain in the manga?
I mean, he was a lot like again. The manga goes so beyond that.
It goes a lot further.
Oh yeah, like the whole thing.
He was a villain in the manga.
Because
like I said, he was written that way, so I can't fault his character. But his character, I don't think was very good.
He was very disappointing for a final villain for the series.
That was my problem. And a villain.
He did do a tonal shift, which I liked. It seemed like everything was starting to get a little bit more serious.
Oh yeah. I loved Black Star's fight against him because literally, Black Star got to shine. Like he literally kicked his ass. I'm over here, and then it's just like it was a bunch of them. It was amazing. Like it was very well done. And a villain that didn't get a lot of showtime, which I was sad about, was Wolfman.
Oh, I do remember Wolfman. Yeah.
He's just kind of coming left. Like
remember, he was like the dude that's what was it? Didn't he have a nickname like Silver-Eyed Wolf?
I can't remember, but it literally
he
turns into Wolfman.
But yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
He just turned into Wolfman. He just didn't get a lot of shine. I liked him a lot as a character.
Yeah, because he like played into a lot of the plots. He was the one that he had like a jailbreak or something.
Yeah,
right?
he was broken out of jail. It was like because she broke out a bunch of different ones to cause chaos.
Well, was it because that was after wasn't it after Mizune and then who's the it was like a frog girl, right?
She was one of the helpers underneath Medusa.
Yeah, but both of them were they were forced into it, right? Because didn't they
something like that?
Yeah, because they wanted to like kill Medusa or get at her and stuff, and then she killed like one of the Mizune sisters or whatever. And then forced both of them
like I will kill you. So
forced
do what I want.
Team up to help her and stuff. So it was kind of that.
That's another thing big for Medusa's character and how good of a villain she was because she literally played up the villain role amazing.
Yeah, she was a witch who was hated by other witches who used other witches to go through her own.
I was gonna say I really enjoy the manipulative villains. I like them quite a bit.
I mean, she literally,
especially since she was also she was just as easily powerful.
Yeah.
Like how she manipulated Dr. Stein, and that whole thing was amazing too. Which I love Dr. Stein as a character. Like he was an amazing character. Like wasn't he one of the strongest Meisters?
Yeah.
Like I loved him.
He was the strongest Meister.
And then he was he was going insane, and he was trying to come to grips with it. He was an amazing character. I don't like Maka's dad. Maka's dad, right?
Oh, Spirit.
I don't like him.
I like.
He's just
Spirit.
A perv, man.
He is.
That's all his character
he's
was.
Just a womanizing
perv.
bastard.
That's all he was, and I was just like, don't like this too much.
Yeah, don't forget about Arachne too. She was another one. The spider lady.
She was kind
I
of.
was gonna say like, I mean,
She just didn't. I didn't like.
Oh,
her
she wasn't like that strong of a character, but she was someone.
Like she was one of those ones.
I mean, we talked about the Wolfman, so I feel like we got to bring up.
That's fair.
But
I like the demon inside of.
Oh yeah,
the little red dude.
Yeah, who's a demon?
You know.
I know he's a demon, but I was like the little red guy. I was confirming.
Oh yeah, no, he was I liked that. That whole little thing was very interesting. How he just slowly was manipulating him and pulling him into the insanity and stuff.
I really liked the thing with like how Soul started to play the piano and stuff. Like whenever he would.
The piano was never talked about before that.
I think it's just the like evolution of become like it's like playing an instrument to become a great weapon because the user is a meister.
That's fair.
So, but
harmonizing.
That's fair. I like
lots of symbolism and things of that nature.
That was good. Like because I mean like it showed the absolute explosion and power you could get. From
I didn't like how Maka like stumbled upon that ability, like Genie Reaper or whatever.
Oh yeah.
She just kind of like got it. Like there was no like.
The Genie one was the one it was the one that only her mother could do, right?
That's to say like she
the Genie killer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
because there was the witch one. Witchblade or whatever, and then there was like the Genie one.
And it's just like she just was like able to do it. I'm just like, don't like this very much.
It wasn't too bad because I mean it was one that her mother used, so you could say she knew about it.
Well, you just talked about the end, and at the end it's like, oh, she's a hybrid. I mean, if you want to talk about things that really made people just kind of some of them.
That was never talked about either. The whole hybrid thing, like,
and they didn't even really talk like.
It's just like how
talk about how that would be a thing. Either.
Like they just didn't explain the biology behind it or anything.
Because then it's just like, so could she just like is it like Black Star where he can use his excess energy? Can she just use herself? Like,
I mean, she did. I thought she did stuff like that.
She.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I rewatched it and it was. But
I'm saying I'm pretty sure she turned into a scythe at one point, like her hand into a scythe.
I know, yeah, but I can't remember if it was. She used it or just like oh shit.
No, she used it. Like she used it to fight. I can't remember if it was at the end or like near the end.
That's very weird. Like the hybrid thing was very weird.
Oh, it was. It was not talked about or anything.
It was just
not retcon. Continuity issues. Continuity issues. That was what I was looking for. I really liked the main dude of the school and stuff.
Death?
Yeah, I like Death a lot. I mean, I'm sorry I couldn't remember Death.
Well, I mean, literally one of the main characters is Death the kid. So
Death is great. That's another one who has this quirky, wacky, kooky personality, which is great. But then again, like you love when he gets serious. Like you love. It's like God.
He's a happy-go-lucky dude, but you're just thinking in your head like, what happens when he gets serious?
And then he gets serious, and you see the shit hit the fan. I enjoyed when the whole school, like when it showed like the whole school was his soul.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was very interesting. Showed the level of his power.
And now I can't remember if they said it in the anime or if this is just something that I just made up. About it. But when Death the kid is supposed to become like gets all of his rings or whatever, and he becomes Death, does that kill Death? Like, does he replace him completely or?
I think that's just like a swap of like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he just take the reins and then Death probably loses some power and goes away?
It's never talked about.
I thought that once he ascended, Death died.
No, I think it's just I'm taking over. Pops, go retire.
Okay, that's a lot better because I was afraid that it was like that.
It's never talked about, but that's what like it seems like, But like another one of my favorite fights with Death the Kid, because I talked about mine with Black Star, I think would have to be against the weird clown dude. Can't think of its name, but that was one of my favorite fights with Death the Kid.
Death the Kid was definitely interesting because he was like the only person to use guns.
He
Yeah.
was.
Well, I mean, like.
Yeah.
No, the zombie teacher used the headstone.
I mean, again.
Yeah, but I'm saying like more like his main thing.
Oh,
No,
that's fair,
I agree, but another thing, which this goes back to like other anime, when you look at things like in Aaron hates talking about My Hero, but like in My Hero, the guy who has the small
that's
quirk,
all you talk about.
anyway, who has the small quirk, and he pulls out the blicky and just starts shooting. It's funny to me that again you have a universe where like in the third episode, I think a second or third episode, when Black Star gets introduced, and you have Al Capone and them just railing at him and stuff, and then you've got them using their like soul shots and stuff like Death the Kid and stuff. It's like guns actually exist in that universe. Like they 100% real life blicky semi-automatics do.
They do.
So that's the funny thing. So yeah. Kid is the one who universally is like it has guns as opposed to some sort of blade or some close range weapon or something neat like that. But it is funny that literal guns are a part of that.
They
universe.
are.
They just don't really do anything. I mean, they can't.
They just can't keep
weapons,
up.
They can't fight against the. I can't remember the name of the little monster things.
Kishin. Kishin is the big one, but they're called Yomu, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Because
I thought they were all labeled Kishins.
No, Kishin's like the higher class.
Kishin is the highest class, but I think they said that when you eat like human or whatever, then that would be. It said something like it's a Kishin spirit. It's not because they're an actual Kishin, but it's because it's like
you're on the
track to become
you're on the road.
Kishin. Yeah,
it's like
it's an evil soul that hasn't like ascended to
Kishin level.
Yeah.
That's understandable, but like going back to I guess the last fight, it was weird that Krona wasn't really represented in that. I thought it was cool that it was just like the
Wasn't
three.
she super like fucked up right before
I
that?
can't remember.
Like
But
she saved Maka and all that. She was fucked.
That's
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
But I thought
wait.
it was, but like I didn't like it, but I also liked how it was literally the main three. Like
He was asking why Krona wasn't in the final battle, and I
Yeah.
thought it was
I think it was something like that. It was just this whole
fucked.
thing.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that it was the main three because it was like how it like the main three cast ends it all and everything. Like I said, as a whole,
that was going to be the way it had to be. Like that's kind of how it has to be.
That's fair.
I mean, unless because he said the manga goes a lot further.
You'd
You'd have
does.
to know Krona a certain period of time for it to make sense for her to be in like the final battle.
The only thing we get after Soul Eater is Soul Eater not.
Okay, anyway, back in Soul Eater.
It's garbage.
What was the one person, the blonde-headed chick who like
Medusa.
No, who came to talk with Stein and
Talk about the nurse?
Small Medusa.
Talk about the nurse.
Was she a nurse?
It's also Medusa.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that was
Oh no, you're talking about the chick who used the hammer.
Yeah.
Whoever she is.
Yeah, I forget who she is, but she's cool. And then there was that one guy,
because it was Mjolnir.
there's
or whatever,
like
wasn't it? Like
It
I
was.
think she
It was Mjolnir.
legendary.
It was
and then
Mjolnir.
it was what was his name? The one dude, who
that means nothing to me.
the priest who has like the little hat on. He wears the earphones all the time. He gets mad when Justin Law or whatever.
Yeah, no, he was a cool character, but he was so underused. Like he could have had so much more development, and he could have been so much more relatable. And I think he would have been an amazing character. And I'm guaranteeing he probably was in the manga.
So I mean, this is getting a little off topic, but so the zombie teacher from the very first one,
Yeah.
he was the teacher, and then he died.
I don't think.
Why did they? Because they planned
now-
for him to become a zombie.
Now,
because this
that's
was all
what
a
I'm saying.
trial for them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he was just randomly died. I'm pretty sure they said he like Stein or something like killed him to bring him back.
No,
as a zombie.
he died. But then because I guess Stein like they knew he was gonna die soon or whatever, took his soul after he died and put it in a. Made him a zombie. But it's a little weird because I mean, one, they don't explain it, and it's
They
just like,
don't.
why the fuck did you make your why wouldn't you let him live in peace? Why did you turn him into a zombie?
Maybe he knew what they needed.
Like,
and also like
that's a very specific instance to come back to life just for that
also,
trial.
he's a zombie, so he could just went out in the front lines with a sword and start shanking people without fear of dying.
Yeah, but I imagine because he's a corpse, if he gets cut up and shit, there's not a whole lot to.
I mean,
put him back together.
I mean, that's fair, but it just looks like he had no fear. Like he
I just really loved his attack where
fear.
he jumped really far up in the air and like fucking crashed.
Oh, the tombstone.
Yeah,
Because you like the Undertaker.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Jesus.
But no, I just liked it because it was like the look of it looked like a bomb.
The aesthetics was amazing for it.
I didn't think about it, but now that I am,
now that I do,
maybe.
Because there is one video game where the Undertaker does that as a finishing move.
Remember the mosquito guy?
The mosquito guy?
Mosquito guy.
Man, he was okay, but I feel like he was just
fat dude. Dude.
I mean, I liked him. He pushed so many things along and put so many things into motion. So he was a good villain, and he definitely helped the story along a lot.
Well, and he was one of Arachne's people.
But that's
he
what
was
I'm saying.
Arachne's butler
He
and
pushed
stuff,
everything
I'm trying
along.
to remember, was there anyone that was like a vampire? Because that's surprising if there wasn't a vampire in.
There was.
He was a skeety skeeter.
I was going to say that's close.
That's the closest.
When you mentioned that, that's when I thought of vampire.
I'm pretty sure he ate blood. The same way vampires do. I don't think he only used his nose when he transformed really big.
He had that madness cannon. He just blicky people. I mean, that's another form of a gun. But yeah. Then there's Brew. That whole thing. Yeah.
Overall, a whole as the anime is literally I think people, if you need to find an anime, watch it. I think it's a good watch. It's a good run.
It's definitely a good first watch. I mean, to me personally, it doesn't have just the best rewatch value. Maybe as a background anime, but
I literally said,
actually paying attention to it, it's a little bit rougher. I mean, the fights are still good, but definitely a first watch, it's great.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of people's opinions, but also a lot of people like I said, me personally, I can rewatch it today and probably still enjoy it.
I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying that. Some anime don't have as much rewatchability.
It doesn't have that rewatchability. What do you think, Brandon?
No, see, I think again, I do like the rewatch, but okay, so when I compare it to anything that I consider a background anime, anytime I look at that, I look at something that either A has just in my mind, an objectively good story or plot or something that I get big into. Like, for example, JoJo. JoJo's a background anime for me. Not because, yes, it is entertaining, but it is because I just absolutely love it. I can just rewatch it a whole bunch, be happy.
It's still entertaining to you.
Yeah, but Soul Eater, again, is different in the sense that it's not that I think it's just this magnus opus of a story. It's not this, huge, critically acclaimed 5 out of 5 or 5 stars, review type writing. But it is so entertaining. It is so aesthetic. It's so pleasing to watch.
It does so many things
fun.
well. It does so many things well.
Because again, you heard it in other episodes. I don't think DBZ is well written. I think that's also
there's a lot of bad writing in DBZ.
Among Anthony fans,
I don't think anybody's gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people aren't going to disagree. But DBZ is another background anime. It's something you can just play in the background, be satisfied. You can get hyped up with your friends. It's not that you're watching it necessarily because you just genuinely think it is just the pinnacle of that. Yeah, and that's why I think Soul Eater fits really well in there because Soul Eater is a great starter anime. I think it's a good anime for people who are new to the anime scene because, especially again, if you're a huge Halloween, October, fall time, spooky, advocate, you are going to enjoy it just for the aesthetics alone.
Just for definitely a great show to watch 100%. In the month of October.
Exactly. And then
it'll get you in the mood.
It really will from the get-go.
And then it has a lot of tropes that you see in anime. It has, quirky characters with odd personalities. They over-exaggerate stuff. There's also serious scenes.
Plenty
There's
of comedy.
Fights. Shonen, it's got the shonen aspects. It has all those
plenty of
qualities.
Sexiness.
Got some, that.
A lot of dudes get shirtless.
You have a lot of things that carry it in that regard, especially for, like I say, newer anime watchers and older anime watchers can appreciate it because I think it has enough to carry it for new or older anime watchers to be able to enjoy it. But it also has replay value, which I think is important because there are a lot of animes out there that I absolutely love, but I'm not dying to put on a second
There's
time.
A lot of times, when I watch an anime, the first time, I'll rate it based on rewatchability. Could I watch this again? And there's a lot of times a lot of animes don't pull that, do that, so I definitely knock it a less down. But I try not to, make it my whole, criteria. But it definitely plays a part for me. Yeah. Because I always want to try and find an anime that I can just turn on in background noise or just watch to watch. I'll go through Netflix or Hulu and just try and find one.
I have two different, rewatchability anime. I have ones that I can rewatch. And when I rewatch it, I'm watching it.
Yeah, actually watching it.
Yu Yu Hakusho, I have to give all attention.
All my attention.
Original Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z is the other one. Dragon Ball Z is the background noise.
Dragon
Ball is a story I have to just watch.
Dragon Ball's the one that gets hard. Real hard.
And for me, Soul Eater falls into the latter, but it's still not a bad thing. It's just...
It's just two different criteria. You just have two different levels, and everybody does.
And then even because I don't want it to just to throw a defense out there, I don't want it to seem like we're at all knocking any anime that doesn't have the same rewatchability.
That's why I said, I don't use it as my main criteria.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, it's the same with, movies for me. I look at a movie that, is like a tearjerker, a big, heavy hitter, just really great plot, long, epic story, great characters, great actors, and it just pulls my heartstrings. But a lot of times I don't really want to rewatch those. Sometimes because I don't want to feel sad that much. Sometimes because it's a lot to get through, and there's so much substance to it.
Example, I feel like you and me have a different opinion on this. I can rewatch the Silent Voice. I want to rewatch it because it makes me feel that way.
Yeah, and that's one of those animes that I thought was phenomenal. One of the best anime movies I've ever seen. It's incredible.
But I know if you go to our video.
Yeah, you can watch it on our other podcast.
I just know you said you wouldn't rewatch it because I would
rewatch it with friends. I would rewatch it to show people, to see their reaction and kind of introduce them to this really epic, really well done story. But no, it's not something I feel like I would just put on in my spare time because of the nature of it.
But that doesn't. That's the difference in criteria.
For me, that's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I absolutely loved it the first time I watched it, but it's a show that I think is great. But I've never really felt like, I want to rewatch it.
Yeah, I've never had a point in time where I was like, I need to rewatch this.
And maybe part of it's because it's got 50 episodes. But I rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho and all that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because it's so good. It was just so good the first time. A rewatch experience, I think, won't help any.
Yeah,
and
the only thing
anyway.
in that anime that I've ever thought about rewatching is the ending, because I like the ending a lot.
That's fair.
I really like the ending a lot.
Rewatch regular FMA? Not for that.
No, because it's bad. But anyways, we're getting off topic.
Watch the movie, the
I've watched those movies.
Where he goes
One
to
is
the world.
okay.
He's actually in Germany.
He's in Germany. Hitler's trying to kill people. No, I watched it. I think it's good.
I think those movies are okay.
I think the Hitler one is good. I don't like the other one.
I didn't watch the other one.
Yeah, the other one's just bad.
I watched the one that ended the series. The series.
It ends the series. That's why it's really good. I think that one's really good, but the other one's just not. It's a typical anime movie. It doesn't hold to the story. It's not canon. I don't like that. I don't like watching stuff, and I love how they're starting to steer away from that too. Anime movies are starting to be canon. But we're off topic now.
But we're using it for a good cause. We want to just explain where Soul Eater, and a lot of you, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen it. So you've probably developed where Soul Eater is as far as in your favorite or least favorite or wherever it falls.
Even if you haven't,
we're just explaining our criteria.
Don't take this as a spoiler. It's definitely spoiling things, but even if you haven't and you're just watching this video, please still give it a chance. Give it a watch. I don't care. I personally don't care about spoilers.
Also, you don't know all the names we're mentioning, so you'll forget by the time.
Yeah, you'll forget. Anyway. Definitely check it out. And I think that's about it for today, right, guys?
I think that's a pretty good stopping point. Yeah, if
you subscribe, please check out our other videos.
Ring the bell.
Leave us some comments below.
I was just saying, I said
tell us some anime you want us to talk about.
Literally
anything you want us to talk. We'll do a Sham Wow review if you guys feel like it.
I was just saying, just if whoever leaves a thumbs up. I will message you. I will.
I will personally.
I will ask you in the comments what you want us to do, and we will do it.
I will come to your house and massage your grandmother.
Okay.
Now, Aaron said that.
Okay. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today. Catch us next time on the next episode of the A2B1 podcast.
A2B1.
Bye.